This is the right. It might have been the last one, sir. It was in the last, yeah, or another one, I don't know what one it was in.
Okay.
But we should sit down.
We should probably start again.
No.
You think? No? Okay. Okay. So we did have some technical difficulties. We did go through the flag salute, the roll call, the consent agenda was approved by a motion of 6-0. And public comments we are on right now, which I read the public comments on the agenda items. We do have one person signed up. Is this for agenda item? Okay, so at the end, okay. Anybody online, please raise your hand on Zoom. And the other people able to get in, talk to you guys.
There you go. Somebody else just got in too. It looks like that's probably the chief.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay. President's report. Okay. As I had mentioned before, we're not on recording. We do have new mics in the council chambers. We're no longer using these stick mics. And it does pick up very well because the YouTube videos were having some difficulty picking up some voices, especially when people turned their heads. So this should help with the YouTube videos and hopefully all the people listening online. The Shade Tree Commission, Shade Tree had a meeting on Monday night. We actually met with a representative from Tree Pittsburgh, and there is a program called the Giving Grove, which is where grant money is available to build fruit trees or plant fruit trees in various boroughs throughout the Pittsburgh area. It's an organization based in Kansas City, and Crafton was selected as one of the communities to be able to plant these fruit trees. And the fruit from the trees would be utilized at the community food bank. So right now, they're looking at areas in the community, mainly around the community garden. And we also have around 7 or so fruit trees there, apple and peach trees. So looking to add some additional potentially, and this will all come to council for review in the infrastructure committee and council to review and approve prior to that. But this would be fully funded by Tree Pittsburgh. So there would, or Giving Grove, there would be no cost to the borough. Okay. Mayor's report.
Nothing to report this evening.
Great. Solicitor's report.
Just report that prior to the meeting this evening, council had an executive session to discuss personnel matters and borough property matter. That's the end of my report.
All right. Engineer's report.
Good evening. I'd like to just discuss some of the existing projects that are going on here in the borough, starting with the Broadhead project. Not much has changed since the last time we've met, but currently we have hired an appraiser to go out to the affected properties that have a proposed sewer going through them, and they will determine the value of the easement that we are seeking for each of these properties, and they will take those assessments and put it into a report for us, and we're looking to receive those within the next 2 weeks by the end of the month. Any questions on that? Okay, moving on to the Public Works Building. Just a reminder that we have a $200,000 grant that we have already extended that is due to expire at the end of June this year. And we feel that the best way to spend these funds is to help make the building more secure as an overall building envelope. And one of the biggest items to do that is to install garage doors on the building. And we have received two quotes from 2 garage door installers. The quotes range from $67,000 to $117,000. And right now we are currently figuring out the best way to incorporate doors and with other utilities that need to be brought to the building so that we can spend the grant money the best way possible. Any questions regarding that?
Yes, so the quote includes the doors and the installations, the quotes.
Correct.
Thank you.
Yeah. doors installation, all the parts needed to install.
Right, and how many doors is that, by the way? Because I'm not sure if everybody here has ever been down
So
there.
the new Department of Works building is, so that 7 18 by 18 foot doors.
Thank you.
On to our next project in the borough is the stairs project, which I have created a small presentation to give to you.
Share.
Yeah, yeah, you will. Green one. And now if you make it, if you put it in presenter mode, it should still be visible.
Okay, so I'd just like to go over again with everybody, the current stairs rehab project that is going on in the borough. But before I go through that, I'd just like to give everyone an update on the Belvedere stairs that are currently awarded. We've received information that this is going to be pushed back until March. It was told to us that the railing fabrication should be done by March 11th. And that demolition is scheduled to begin around March 4th. So moving on to the remaining stairs in our project. When this went out to bid, the stairs were separated into different contracts in order to try and to determine the best bids. The first contract, contract A, is Clearview to Crafton and Crafton to Walnut Stairs. In the middle, we have an aerial location map of where these stairs are. And on the left side, we have the Clearview to Crafton stairs, and on the right side are the Crafton to Walnut Stairs for reference. The next contract and set of stairs is the Bar Avenue stairs, located between Bar Avenue and Alley A. Contract C is the Fountain to Promenade stairs steps that are located between Promenade Street and Fountain Street here in the borough. And on this last slide, I'd like to just present to you like the recap again of the contracts and the streets that represent each contract. And as well as a summary table based on the bids that we received and based on our contract, or on our budget, which combination of steps meet our budget. And moving forward, we need to decide which sets of stairs to pursue, which sets of stairs are the most needed. And yeah, we'd like to have any discussion or questions regarding this.
We add a little bit more context for all of us. We have funding through several different grant sources for these, but the funding we have was, I wasn't able to bring my exact numbers tonight, but it was
It's total, it's 493, plus we agreed to a partial match, so it's about 530 in total. And so the first three basically would be very limited cost, and any of the first three would be very limited cost. If we did all three of the contracts, which is the third one, we would have to chip in approximately $200,000.
So these were previously bid at the end of last year, and the bids came in higher than we had initially anticipated. And so we rebid these, and although our engineer has gone through contract A, B, and C, and then D being all, we asked everyone to bid on all of them. But the costs are still coming in higher than we had budgeted. So now our decision is, do we proceed with all of the stairs that we had identified needed repairs and we pay more than we had anticipated? Or do we remove one of those sets and just do two of the three areas and stay closer to our budgeted amount?
So can I
yeah.
can I ask a question? Because I haven't seen these contracts, and we've had a lot of conversations, but these are complete rebuilds out of them?
Yeah, except for the portion of, the first one, contract A, is not a complete rebuild of the entire set of stairs. It's a partial, it's like the railing and a partial on the structure at the bottom. Correct.
Yeah, okay, that's
Right.
the one I was wondering about.
Yeah, that one's the
Okay,
only
thank
one
you.
that's not a full construction. And I went out and I just give you I went out and walked these today. Just because I wanted to get an idea of like where they were at. And so if you want to, can you go back to A and I'll walk them through a little more information? So this is probably the most used out of all of them, because it goes from Walnut up to Crafton Boulevard, and then from there, it goes up to the trail. So if you know, in any one of these neighborhoods and you want to access the trail or, you know, access a there's also a kids bus stop there.
Right,
That one is very well used. In addition, there is a house that only has access via this set of stairs. I confirmed that today. I wasn't sure. I walked up behind the house. There is no other access to this house but these stairs. And I did a video of these stairs. If they don't get repaired today, if they don't get repaired, I'm gonna close them down. Because they're in they're in bad enough shape that they're gonna be a tripping hazard. And if we close them down, that person can't get to their stairs, to their house.
It's worth also reminding everyone, and 'cause I know this started a while ago, that we had multiple different areas that were being looked at. This was
Yeah.
probably over a year ago, and the stairs that ended up making it into this bid were all the ones that were rated most in need in terms of level of use and level of repair needed. So they were all already
Well,
top rated.
I'll challenge the next one, which is Chesta Alley A.
mhm,
Cause it goes to a dead end street and there really probably isn't a lot of through traffic on this one. If I was gonna leave any out, this one definitely needs to be repaired. But this one's probably the easiest of all of them to close. Because on the bottom half of it, it's all on one person's property and they actually use it as stairs through their property. So we would leave that open. I would suggest closing the top portion of it that connects their house to the street above, because that has got a fair amount of damage. But it's not, that one doesn't have, to me, as much access as the other ones do. And if you go to Promenade is a monster set of stairs. And it goes, if you are in those neighborhoods up top and need to get to the busway, that's your best connection to the busway. So I would imagine that those stairs are very well used as well.
I would say they're probably less used than you might think because they're so dangerous.
Yeah, that might be the case.
so
They
build
are-
it and they
they're
will
big.
come, right?
Yeah, but I took a video of each one. If I was trying to figure out how to get the video. I only did it a couple hours ago, so I was trying to figure out how to get the video up here and I didn't have time to finish that task. But I can share the videos with anybody if they want to see them. But that would be, my recommendation would be to either do A and C together or do all three. That's my recommendation.
And all three is contract dates.
Correct. Would mean we'd have to chip in more money.
Do we have the budget for that if we wanted to do all three?
In the bond fund, I mean, we have room in the bond fund for projects, but that means that you're maybe not doing another project down the road too, so. I mean,
Because
that's,
you're talking about, 150, 160,000. That could typically be a match from a much larger grant.
could be.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, part of it is really, and I use these steps a lot. I use these steps, but still, it's like, how much are they being used?
Mhm.
And, how much contributes to connectivity, is important, but I think that, I would tend to agree with you, saying the A and C with closing,
The top portion of that one,
Mhm.
yep. Or seeing if we can get Public Works to do a little bit of repair
Sure.
on some portions of it to make it acceptable, but on that one. On all of them, really, some of the issues are the whole stairs are sloped. So it's
Mhm.
not real easy to do repairs on them
Yeah.
either, and they would need that top set would need railings.
We also we have two different grant sources for this. And both of those are sources that may be repeated in the future
Mhm.
in slightly different ways. But one is a recurring grant and another is state funds that come around on a regular basis. So we can take a phased approach and then seek additional funding for whatever we don't do in this round.
What was the figure again for the grant money that we received?
493.
93?
and then we had.
We're
I think
envisioning
we're-
a $500 and some $1,000 project.
Yeah, we are required to do, I think I think it was $34,000 or $30,000 or something. The GD, the one from Joel, I think we had a required match on.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
Okay, so if it's 493, if we do A and B, then. We'd be giving back some of the grant money, same with C, B and C. If we did A, we would need to add. What 400 or actually 50 some thousand.
Right, we
No, because we
committed
were
to 35.
anticipating spending about 530 total.
We have to spend, you won't get the additional grant money. If
Unless we
you're
spend
giving
it,
money
yeah.
back on both of the first two.
Right,
So C, we'd be spending about an additional 18,000.
right. Mhm.
But, so one other thing, we need a motion
Mhm.
if we're going to move one of these through. So the idea is to award this. The idea would be to award this to one of those four. If you are comfortable with that, we can have we'd need a motion to award it to one of the four options.
I'm in favor of the A and C option. Do we want
Agreed.
more discussion or do we want to make a
I agree.
motion?
You can make a motion, then second, then we'll have discussion again.
Just giving the option before I make a motion. I'll make a motion that we proceed with awarding this bid in the combination of the A and C contract to the low bidder.
Second,
Ms. Bolenbacher, second. Discussion or questions?
and again, that remaining 18, roughly 18,000 will come from the bond.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yep.
We also have gotten some additional grant funding elsewhere, so I don't know how that will all pencil out and finances are always moving, but we do have gotten a little extra money from
Yeah.
grant sources this year that were not reflected in the budget last year, so
Mhm.
it may not have to come out of grant, the bond. If we
Personally, I,
can use a grant to reduce costs.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's already yeah, so I mean, by that stretch, it's already will be free with the additional money we got brought in, so, yeah.
personally, I like the idea of spending a little bit more than losing a lot.
Right.
Hmm.
Any other questions? Oh, yes.
Yeah, I do actually have another question. So these are the ones we're considering. And I understand that these were among the worst,
Mhm.
but we do have other stairs.
Mhm.
And have we inspected those? I know that we've had a rash of, social media conversation around.
We have
them.
not, I've only inspected these at this point, but that is absolutely on the list of things to do,
Okay.
is go inspect all the rest of them, so we can determine whether some should be shut down or partially shut down or what have you.
Whether
moving forward.
there's some things that Public Works could do.
But if they need to be shut down until they can get it done,
Right.
then we need to do that.
Mhm.
Yeah, that is
Okay.
absolutely on the list.
Thank you.
They
Any
were
other-
all inspected
Were they?
like a year or a little over a year ago, when we
When this
first
first
started
came out,
looking
yes.
into which of these stairs should we look at first. So I mean, it's good. It's
Well,
probably the
yeah,
right time to look at them again, but they were all initially inspected.
Right, but I don't
Yeah.
think when we inspected them, we were looking at them from a perspective of whether any of them posed a public safety hazard and whether we should be closing any of them to cover our liability. And there's recently been
Yeah.
some,
And it was a year and a half ago, I think, when
Yeah.
they started it, so winters and things have happened, but it was, I believe we looked at every single one, and then we chose these ones as top worst.
right,
But I like the idea of going for more grant money for all the other ones, and then doing a reassessment of what we have.
And
And
we can maintain a list. Larry, we're doing that with the streets. It's no different. I mean, we can maintain a list of all the stairs and, have a conditional, like kind of a condition grade on them and, where they're at. And then we'll just have that list updated every year. if we do any repairs on them or whatever.
Here's actually a question. I mean, we have our road fund. Is that specifically for things that you could drive a car on?
No, you might be able to use the road fund for this, cause it's a cartway. I mean,
Yeah.
it's considered a transportation asset, so yeah.
Mhm,
I can find, I don't know, but I can look into it.
okay,
I don't know, Steve, you
You
probably
would be able to.
Yeah.
We'll have to double check.
okay.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion passes.
We'll move on to the next item on the agenda here. Just to briefly discuss the road painting plan. This is moving forward. I had went out again this week to do another assessment of the roads using our new hardware that we had received, but it was quickly ended when I realized that we were missing a piece to that is used to help make this hardware effectively and accurately perform well. But I've reached out to the supplier and also our other package that we got from them, and I will be going out as soon as tomorrow to try and do another assessment. Once the assessment has been completed, it's a matter of uploading the information, and then we will be able to populate a list of roads based on the grades surveyed. Questions with that?
And that list will come to council for approval.
Correct.
Yeah, well, first we have to determine what the total amounts and all that
Mhm.
are, but
Yeah.
Next item, we've got some PA American water main replacements going on in the borough coming up soon. I had met with the project manager who is overseeing this work at a coordination meeting and reached out to him today regarding his construction schedule. He didn't have a lot of feedback to give me at this time. He's still looking for a staging area. He's still organizing his crews. But he did say that he's anticipating middle of March before any construction begins. And to piggyback off of this, we had also received some new road weight limit signs that we will be placing on some of these streets to help deter heavy truck traffic from going over them during this construction. Questions with that?
Just to be clear, because I've had a couple people ask me, the Union Avenue side, this is not the brand new side that was finally
Yep, they're
replaced.
tearing up your
40
whole,
years.
they're tearing up your whole new street.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding.
I
It's the other
just
side.
want to make sure, because I've had people panicking down on my side of the street that it's gonna get torn up again, so. No.
That was
Okay.
the first thing that I did
Yes.
when I saw that
that's-
come across.
Yeah, So, okay,
So there's, from previous conversation, there's only one of these that has been recently paved.
Correct. And we're actually, yeah, that's Starrett.
Starrett,
And we're currently looking in, we actually might do some O and M work on
Mhm.
Starrett. So we might be able to, I don't know if it's very much, so I don't know if there's any possibility of recouping some costs from them or from,
mhm.
you know, vice versa. So we'll have to figure that out, but we haven't figured that out yet.
Right, but we do have, the ordinance, that was passed a couple of, a year and a half, 2 years ago, about having to put it back in.
Yep, they have to put it back. If it's brick, they have to put it back in brick. Yep,
Mhm.
or what have you, yep.
And the last item in the engineer's report is the O and M for the sewers this year. I just want to go over briefly as to why this work is done and what is done to determine which ones are repaired. So like all infrastructure, over time, it does wear down. And with Crafton Borough, the majority of our sewers being combined sewers, they are being used quite a bit more than your regular storm sewer, which will just receive intermittent flow. And how a list is determined to figure out which ones are repaired. We schedule a CCTV, closed circuit television, through a select amount of sewers every year. And from there, we determine what is being captured on this video. We look for things such as defects, subsidence, collapses, blockages, foreign objects, anything that will prevent the sewers from working effectively and efficiently. We've just got done reviewing our repair list for this year. The repairs include open cut excavations and manhole to manhole linings. But this work will continue later in the year. If anyone has any questions regarding the O&M for sewers? Happy to chat.
And I'll just say one thing, the budgeted amount for this year is $500,000, so we are doing quite a bit of it. Last year was budgeted 400, we upped it a little bit this year to try to catch up with those ones that are longer in the tooth, and so they don't become bigger problems.
As an example, Johnson.
Right, perfect example, sitting right in front row.
Yeah, which was on the list for many, many years prior.
2016, I think.
Yes, which wasn't addressed and then became a huge issue.
Cost $300,000 as opposed to 65 or 70.
And the bathhouse too, I think, C.
Oh.
E.
Oh, yeah.
Forgot to mention the pool bathhouse. This project's coming along fairly well. There's no major concerns at this moment. Everything since the beginning of construction, everything's come along pretty far along and it's starting to look good. We're at the point now where we're getting close to where our Department of Public Works is gonna chip in and take care of the concrete work that is proposed, which is the sidewalks in front as well as some bollard work. That should be taking place in the middle of March as well. No other questions with that. That concludes the engineer's report.
Thank you, Larry.
Thanks, Larry.
Managers report.
Okay, first thing on the docket is a wage resolution, which is a few weeks overdue. My fault, but it's a resolution setting the wages for non-union burner staff for 2024. So I'd like to get a motion to approve resolution 2024-02, a resolution setting the wages for the non-union borough staff for 2024.
So moved.
Ms. Bolenbacher,
Second.
Ms. Compitello, any discussion or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Okay, thank you. And then the next thing, and we'll probably see this, again next year. This number will probably be high for this year and next year, if not for a few more years. And that's the real estate and road tax refunds, in the amount of $9,395.33. That these are people that are getting reassessed on their property values because the calculation is now favorable for people to get reassessed. And so you're seeing more of that this year. Hopefully you won't see it after a couple more years, but you're gonna see this unless we do a countywide reassessment, which is a whole other thing. And we'll see quite a few of these if that happens. But yeah, so that's what this is. I'd like a motion to approve the payment of the 2022-23 real estate and road tax refunds in the amount of $9,395.33 as presented and submitted by Jordan Tax Services, Inc.
So moved.
Mr. Chandler,
Second.
Mr. Ho, discussion.
So this is the total of it? There won't be any more for
This year,
this year?
exactly.
Okay.
And this covers 2 years, actually, so the list shows 2022
Actually,
and
I
2023.
take that back. They still do have time to to appeal, don't they?
Yes, people can file appeals through March 31st of this year for this year's taxes.
Yeah.
And there are folks that filed appeals last year with the new common level ratio, which is a calculation Mr. Price mentioned. And I thought I read today, actually, that the county
I
expects
saw
to have
that.
those out by April.
Yeah. So we might see.
You'll get another wave,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Mhm. Any other discussion? Right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
All right, that is all I have for my report today.
And the rest of your report is on the OneDrive.
Yes, sorry.
Yeah.
The rest of my report is on the one there. Yes, thank you.
thanks. Standing committees report. We'll start with Finance, Administration, Sustainability. Ms. Perry.
So we don't have anything new on the contract update, except that to remind everybody that the bills that we had in the mail are the last bill on the last year extension that we have of 10 years. And that what we'll be working on all this year will be looking to find the best options and to keep the costs down as much as possible, though we know there are going to be significant increases, largely because of recycling requirements and that sort of thing. But we'll keep you up to date if there is anything new. to
Yeah, and I
say.
just wanna extend what you're saying to clarify that is we are probably at minimum looking at a doubling of our annual garbage collection rate. So if right now it's 285, it is unlikely to be below $600 in the new contract, no matter who we go with. So
Right.
I just want to make that clear. That is a huge increase. You are able to space that out over 4 payments over the year, but I want to make sure that we're repeatedly saying that because it's going to be a big hit, especially for those folks that are on fixed incomes or, yeah.
And we're going to fight as hard as we can to make sure that we negotiate the pricing and get the best.
There just
services.
basically are not a lot of options.
Mhm.
Right. We've been really lucky to be on a contract that was set 10 years ago and a lot has happened since then, inflation, but bigger than that was the Chinese cutting us off from taking our recycling, and that has dramatically increased the cost of recycling.
All right, and then the other big thing is that administration is in the process of putting a new payroll system in, and that is going to give us a net cost savings over the year of about $3,000.
Yep, I would hope even more once, because we're also gonna have less people having to touch it. So,
Yes, so when we look at internal costs, it will be savings, it'll be even more than that.
yeah,
And then you're also in the process of a new bill paying
Right.
system, and that's going very well.
Yeah, so far, yeah. I
Oh,
know
well,
that's
amazing.
Sorry.
Oh, it's so amazing. Just, I get so excited. It is, we went from hand signing checks and going through paper invoices and licking and stamping to now ACHs online that are all approved online and an audit trail very easily. You can add approvers. And this was the first time in doing that one. So
It did work really well.
Yes,
It
it
is
was
pretty
amazing.
efficient.
And,
I am really glad to hear this because I was crying for this
Oh.
since day one. And I spent 6 months signing those and looking at all those bills too, so.
I kind of cried when I approved them. Yeah, this was- I might have shed a tear or two.
All right, so great efficiencies in the works here, so we're really, really excited about that.
And that's the good news too, is that the ones that we didn't approve today, I didn't approve. So they will not go out, they will not be paid until council. approves those.
And the notes that the challenges that we have to them are right in the system, so you can see what they are and yep, it is really nice.
Yeah.
So.
All right, that I think is about all I have for finance and administration.
Great. Infrastructure and land use, Ms. Costello.
Well, there's only one thing on my agenda for this meeting, and it's the zoning ordinance update. There was a steering committee meeting yesterday. But I was unable to attend, so I'm gonna ask the manager to give an update on how that went.
Yep, so we had a meeting yesterday, we met for probably an hour and a half. And
Exactly.
Yep. And we were going back through and a lot of so first we reviewed a little bit of what was discussed at the public engagement, which was really well attended. And got lots of good feedback from that. And really a lot of the feedback was, let's focus on commercial districts and getting those going. And so we focused on that last night and just went through and double checked and make sure that the things that are in the new, in the CTOD district, which is this area that we're in now, or the shopping district, were in line with best practices for, improving, commercial adoption. And so, now we made a few of those edits and we sent them back. And so we are going to start getting, full snippets of the code itself over the next couple months and a bit at a time. So we anticipate that the next meeting will actually be reviewing the specific language of the code related to those. So we'll get a few answers back from what I sent them today. And then we'll move forward with a zone. We don't have one scheduled for the next steering committee, but as soon as I hear back from ZoneCo about when they expect to get us stuff, then we'll schedule another meeting. And go from there. That's it.
That was all for my agenda this time.
Great, thank you. Planning Commission, Mr. Badilla is not here. I believe the next meeting is
Or tomorrow, no.
27th?
Yeah.
Okay, at 6:30 PM. So we'll have a meeting for coming up. An update coming up at our next meeting. Communication Recreation, Ms. Bolenbacher.
Thank you. For the most part, mine's just review from last month. I have a little more detail on the next senior dinner, which is Saturday, March 2nd. That is Wizard of Oz themed. There will be some people in costume. There will be dinner, entertainment, and prizes. There will also be some themed cookies courtesy of McDermott Funeral Home. So thank you, McDermott. Doors open at 4:30. It's until 7. It's $10 a person. I believe RSVPing was up until today. But would you kill anybody if they called tomorrow? No. And it's $10 at the door. So you RSVP ahead of time and then you pay when you show up. So
And we've generally now been leaving it, if we get people at the last second, we've left a little room.
I figured.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
because we had to turn away, we missed 10 people the first time we did this, and we don't want to do that again.
No, definitely not. So we appreciate if you RSVP ahead of time. Just
Yeah.
We had 3 other senior dinners throughout the year: Saturday, May 4th, Saturday, August 3rd, and Saturday, November 2nd. The other events we have coming up this year, I don't really have any detail on other than dates. We have our cleanup day and our Arbor Day celebration on Saturday, April 27th. That includes the shredding event as well as I never remember what they're called. The big dumpsters, that's the word I'm looking for. Instead of the car cruise this year, we are doing a music festival, and that will be Saturday, June 1st. Of course, we have our Independence Day celebration on July the 4th, which I believe is a Thursday this year. Our Fall Fest is returning Saturday, September 28th. We are having Haunted Crafton with the Haunted Tour, October 19th through the 31st. And we're also hosting a trunk or treat on the 19th to kick off the Haunted Crafton time period. We have our Celebration of Lights on Saturday, December 7th, and then we have our Christmas House Tour on Sunday, December 15th. It's a busy year. In terms of Crafton's logo, I don't really have an update this week. They're still doing their thing, so hopefully we'll hear from them, I'm guessing maybe March, April.
Yeah.
So when I hear more, I'll let you know. And our next newsletter is still slated to come out in early April, so the requests have been out and articles are due March 1st. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Commission vacancy, Ms. Mulcomb.
Yeah, so not a whole lot from our last meeting, not a lot has changed. We currently have civil service alternate seat available, the zoning hearing board seat available, one library board seat, as well as some upcoming seats that I'll go basically just to almost July. Another library board, shade tree commission, planning commission, and then civil service. You can look at the descriptions of these seats on our website. You can go to craftonborough.com/commissions. I want to say thank you. We are using Savvy Citizen, and because of being able to sort of amp up a little bit more awareness of these seats, we are seeing some more applicants come in. So thank you to those folks that have done that. And the process is to set up an interview. So that has been we're still working on doing that. So a little patience on getting those set up, but I do appreciate the interest that we've seen in the library board and the planning commission. So we'll keep using Savvy Citizen as a way to let people know the description of those seats and to make sure they know the application process, but yeah.
And I'd like to update everybody on the library board as well. the library board is their own board, they have their own bylaws, they have their own rules. And at some point in the past, we got off sync with their appointment schedule. So for the past year, when we appointed Andrea and Tiffany last year, we appointed them to the remainder of what existed on our schedule, which is not how we're gonna do it moving forward. Moving forward, we're going to be appointing them to their actual board seat that is the same in their bylaws. So there's no differentiation. So that means that what's happening right now is Tiffany, who we appointed last year, the plan is to reappoint her, but just to the remainder of her actual term, because she still has a term. And then with Andrea, we're waiting for a response from their board. So we received 3 applications for that seat. They received 2 applications for that seat. If they decide to go with one of those 2 applications that they received, then that will be their board member and we'll appoint Andrea. If they decide to go with one of the 3 that applied through us, then we'll take them as the representative for the borough, and Andrea then will become her own independent seat. So we're fixing that snafu that we had.
Okay, so you said something, so is the library board choosing the council's representative?
No, they're choosing their own first. So
Okay.
they have an open seat. So we
Okay, I
have
got
2, we have 2 appointed people right now.
Okay.
One of them is the one who fell off.
Yeah, but so council
Yep,
is going to be, the vacancy board will be the one who make the decision about the council.
if it's one of the 3, yeah. Well, so if they decide to go with one, I guess.
At the end of the day.
I did
we
say it
have
wrong.
2 positions.
I did say this wrong. I'm
Okay.
sorry. If they don't want one of the 2 that they have, and they would like one of the 3 that we got,
Then
then
we choose
one of those 3. Yeah, that's what I said
Okay.
wrong. I did say that wrong.
at
Yeah,
all times,
Yeah.
council has, or the borough has 2 representatives
Exactly.
because,
we donate $7,000 a month
Yeah.
to them. Yeah.
thank you.
And all of that was sort of the working through that before setting up the library interview. So again,
Yeah.
thank you to the folks that did apply. We'll get some,
Yeah.
a little bit more clarification and then be able to kind of move forward. But that was what we were working through was the timing of those seats.
All right, thank you. Last one, Council of Government, Ms. Bolenbacher.
And I just need to let you know, the next meeting is Thursday, March 21st at 6:30 PM in Ingram.
Not far away. Okay, community announcements. The next council meeting is actually 3 weeks away. So it's March 14th at 7. Our summer employment, we are still taking applications through March 8th. And this is for pool manager, assistant pool manager, aqua aerobics instructor, head lifeguard, lifeguards, cashiers, attendants, concession stand workers, swim coaches, and seasonal public works. There's applications in the borough building, and also you can apply online. Everything, like I said, is due by March 8th. Ms. Bolenbacher went over, there's no place like home, senior dinner, March 2nd, 4:30, doors open until 7. And Wizard of Oz theme, I don't think you have to dress up as an attendee.
You don't have to, but no one's gonna say no.
With dinner, entertainment, and prizes, tickets are $10 and RSVP. Trash recycling bill payments. So Jordan had sent out the trash tax bill about a couple weeks ago to all residents. They will be in the borough building for collection in person on February 27th from 9 to noon. Public comment. Oh, any other announcements by council?
And one other just small reminder, we've mentioned this, but there is with the new county administration, a survey that's out and a series of public events that have been happening. We've been putting out regular notices on Savvy Citizen. And I expect those will continue until the survey closes. But also this morning, there was a Connect event and, or Connect meeting. And it was mentioned that the county will be sharing soon their tallies of how many people have responded from each municipality. So just a heads up to everyone who's watching those. I think once we get those numbers, we'll probably put out some Savvy Citizen notices that add a little bit of let's do better than our neighboring municipalities. So just a reminder that
There may be a dinner on the line for us.
some of our neighboring municipalities have become very competitive.
Yeah.
So just, that was all.
Thank you. Public comment. At this time, citizens may address the Grafton Borough Council on any issue. Only residents and taxpayers of the Borough of Grafton will be permitted to address the council. Speakers will be permitted to speak for a maximum of 3 minutes. Groups of people will be required to designate a spokesperson to represent them before the council, who may speak for a maximum of 5 minutes. Please state your name and physical address for the record. So we have Mr. Griner.
Guys, I never finished my thoughts. So we do that. Talking this.
Hello, my name is Matt Briner. I live at 91 North Emily Street, Grafton, PA 15205. I'm here today to request council consider a stop sign on the southbound side of Grafton Boulevard and Johnson Street. What I've provided you here today, I talked to some folks within the organization of Grafton and suggested that I get a traffic study to talk about the safety issues with having a atypical two-way stop sign and a three-way situation. So that is the study that's from Rooster. It talks about, you know, how it's atypical. Also, it's creating somewhat of a dangerous situation pertaining to that's one of the highest pedestrian corridors, especially for school children in the morning and in the afternoon. No, obviously, you know, there's different ways to address that. You know, there's just as the Gateway Engineering report that Grafton followed about 1.5 years ago when they put the stop sign at that intersection because it was atypical as well. And so I would like council to talk about putting a stop sign in. It's my understanding that Grafton is currently thinking about doing a complete study of Grafton Boulevard. This traffic study for Worcester obviously would have to be, you know, reviewed by Gateway. Already does some of the work for you guys. I've also talked extensively with Mr. Price and Mr. Keenan. They both agree that it is an atypical situation. I've also, you know, talked to a few other people within the organization of Grafton, and many people feel the same way as I do. That is that currently it is somewhat of a dangerous intersection, and that it should be addressed.
Is that it?
And I think you need to look at both studies before you make any decisions on whether or not this would be an item that would come up for review at the next council meeting. Coincidentally, the study that Worcester did matches Gateway's completely. So I'd like you guys to make sure that you review these before you make any decisions on whether or not this can happen.
Okay.
And I also provide a petition as well from all the neighborhood. But in previous meetings, my understanding that petitions aren't allowed to be on it anyhow, so. I don't know, matter of fact, so. For just opinions.
Cut you off before your 3 minutes. Sorry about that.
Does it cut off?
Yeah. But,
Okay,
yeah, we'll fix that.
right. Right. Anybody else in our audience? You can just raise your hand. Okay. Anybody on Zoom, you may raise your hand. All right. With that, nobody on Zoom, meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
All right.